Barely days after Professor John Okumu was confirmed as Kenyatta University's substantive Vice-Chancellor, his appointment has ignited a legal battle. One of his rivals who applied for the job, Professor Washeke Wanjohi, claims that she was pushed out of the race unlawfully, even as she faces disciplinary proceedings over alleged conflict of interest and questions over her eligibility for the top position. NTV's Laban Shaban reports on a transition that was expected to restore stability but has instead plunged the institution into yet another leadership dispute.
Professor John Okumu is Kenyatta University's new Vice-Chancellor after emerging the top candidate in a Public Service Commission recruitment process. But days into his tenure, the appointment has landed in court. As the scholar of physics received his appointment as Kenyatta University's substantive Vice-Chancellor, the University Council issued 3 disciplinary letters to his rival, Professor Washeke Wanjohi. One letter suspended Professor Wanjohi from her positions as Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic and University Professor. Another required her to show cause over, among other allegations, an alleged conflict of interest involving Neema Hospital, which the university says provided medical services to the institution. A third revoked her appointment as a trustee of the Kenyatta University Staff Retirement Benefit Scheme.
You can see clearly that this was a well-planned, well-orchestrated onslaught against the professor.
Last week, Professor Wanjohi, who has served in acting capacity as Vice-Chancellor for cumulative 17 months, moved to the Employment and Labor Relations Court through her lawyer, Chris Mutuku. The scholar of plant pathology has sued the Cabinet Secretary for Education, the Attorney General, the Public Service Commission, the Kenyatta University Council, and Professor John Okumu. She claims she was unfairly locked out of the race for Vice-Chancellor. Washeke wants the court to nullify the recruitment process that led to Professor Okumu's appointment. Documents filed in court show the Public Service Commission ranked Professor John Okumu first with 84.5 marks. 6 other candidates were scored according to their interview performance, but one candidate was not ranked. According to the Public Service Commission, Professor Wanjohi failed to meet a mandatory eligibility criteria for appointment as Vice-Chancellor. It's a finding she is now challenging before court.
Well, for us, all we want is just justice. And what Professor Washeke seeks from the court and from the system is that let the best candidate be appointed the Vice-Chancellor of Kenyatta University.
On Friday, the High Court directed all parties to comply with the timelines for filing responses and submissions. The matter will be mentioned on October 5th, 2026.
The system seems to be programmed against Professor Washeke.
For Professor Okumu, the legal battle begins even as he settles into office. Having served as acting Vice-Chancellor since January, he has already presided over the university's 59th graduation ceremony. He now inherits an institution grappling with financial constraints, rising student enrollment, and once again, questions over leadership succession.
I know there are challenges in Kenyatta University, but with my team, with the management I have, with the staff you have in Kenyatta University, I'm very, very confident that we'll make it.
Kenyatta University is no stranger to leadership disputes. Former Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Wainaina repeatedly turned to the courts to fight for his job. Now, just days into Professor John Okumu's tenure, another succession battle is now before the corridor of justice. Laban Shaban, NTV.